Hello everyone, welcome back to the track 2 and we have Vinoth Roy with us who will be presenting about Microsoft Purview data catalog. Hi Vinoth, over to you.
Yes. Hi, so my name is Vinoth. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes Vinoth, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So as I said, my name is Vinoth. So I'm working as an Azure architect at Coding City. So we are a startup working on cutting edge technologies that includes multi-cloud things. So what we are going to see today is a data cataloging with Azure Purview. Hope from the morning sessions, we have got an overview of what is Azure Purview, what is the main advantages of using Azure Purview. So in this specific session, we are going to see how Purview will help you in cataloging your data and identifying your data, securing your data, so everything that is related or circling around data, how we can do with data catalog with the help of Azure. That's what we are going to see today. So this is my agenda. So we'll see what is exactly a data catalog and how we can have data cataloging with Azure Purview, and what are the key features of Azure Purview data catalog and its benefits, and we'll see some of the use cases we can do with Azure Purview, and we'll go for a demo. So in the demo, I'll show about what you can do with cataloging, what is exactly a cataloging, and how you are going to prepare catalog in the Azure Purview for your data. And in the same way, so the important factor is to give access to others to see your data, uh, and that access has to be a secure one. So with Azure Purview Catalog, how you can provide those secure access to your in-house data. So those are the things we'll see in a demo. So let's get started. Okay, so as you all know, nowadays, like last 4 or I'd say last 10 years, we started having a huge amount of data. So a lot of the data related technologies is taking a center point around the organizations. So the technologies such as Databricks, big data technologies, Databricks, all those things are taking a center point. And if you see, there are organizations which has a huge petabytes of data. Okay, so with that data, we are generating more value from the data. Okay, so from the value we are generating the data, so most of the organizations are able to go forward. Okay, so the analysis we are getting from the data. Okay, so as you all know, data is the oil of this century. So from the value we are getting from the data, so most of the organizations are planning things and moving forward. Okay, so as you see, data is an important asset in any organization. And if you take any organization, challenging and managing this particular data is very challenging. Okay, so I have worked with organizations which have huge petabytes and megabytes of huge gigabytes of data. Okay, so in the recent scenario, I will say there are two things here. So in the recent scenario, if we take, we have a lot of developments happening on microservices world. Okay, so I hope everybody know microservices. Okay, so we have seen services that span across like hundreds, 200s of microservices. Okay, and there are requirements where one microservices need to communicate with another microservices to get data. Okay, so consider a scenario where your application have like 80, 90 microservices. Okay, so the microservices can span across login service, and analytical data can be a service, and product can be a service, and auditing data can be a service, tax data can be a service. And if you take a video streams such as Netflix, Netflix has a lot of microservices with different variety of data. Okay, they have a data for the titles alone, they have a data for the cast alone, and each data will be sitting in a different databases or different data lakes. Okay, so these will be sitting under different areas of organization. Okay, so in order to have a unified view, like what are the data we have in the organization and how this data can be utilized appropriately, is challenging for any organization. Okay, so data purview comes into picture to make this effectively govern the data. Okay, so this is a microservices world. And the second part is ensuring the data is readily identifiable and searchable while also maintaining its security can be difficult. Okay, so let's take a scenario of Netflix. Okay, so Netflix have a huge catalog of data. Okay, so if you take, so there are data analysts. Hope everybody know that aware of data analyst. The job of data analyst to analyze the data we have in the organization and to come up with certain points, like if you take what kind of filling can be seen by most users in the next 1 or 2 months. Okay, so if we need that, and the analyst had to do those kind of analysis. Okay, for that kind of analysis, the analyst need to know like where the particular data is sitting, and what are the data, what are the different features in that particular data. Okay, these kind of details the analyst need to know. Okay, so let's take example. So everybody is watching, I think, series, Netflix series everybody is watching. Okay, so there are different types of genres in the series. Okay, some like crime series, some like comedy series, some like different genres. Okay, so as a role of an analyst, he or she has to obtain the data, like how many watched, which kind of a journals, how many, and at what time they watched this, and at what country they watched this. And so these are the features. We'll say it in learning. So they had to come up with these things, and they need to provide an analysis so that they'll create content based on this analysis, and it will reach out to it will be watched and reach out to people. Okay, it will be a hit or something. Okay, but the main point is the analyst need to know where the data they want is sitting. Okay, that's the main point here. Okay, let's take an example. So the analyst, okay, so let's go to the scenario where we have microservices. Okay, so the analyst cannot go and communicate or go to each and every database or each and every data lake they have uh, in their organization to look for their data. Okay, that's a time consuming and pretty messed up process. Okay, right. So the analyst need to have a way they can go and search. Okay, let's say so this is the data, like number of users watched crime series. Okay, this is the data they want. They just go in and search. Let's take crime series data. They search for crime series kind of a thing, and they'll get the things that is related to crime series. And from that particular database or table, they'll be able to identify. Okay, so they'll go and they'll search whatever the data. So let's say users, and they go search users, and whatever the data across the organizations that is related to particular user. Okay, they'll have it readily available, and they'll go and have that data to get into use. Okay, so that's the next point we have, ensuring the data is readily identifiable and searchable. Okay, so if we take the next point, organization with successful data catalog implementation see remarkable changes in the speed and quality of data analysis. Okay, so nowadays data analysis has become an important point in every other organization. Okay, to do a quality data analysis, the analyst need to know what and where the data is. Okay, and it should be easy, and it should be easily available, readily available, and easily searchable. If it has a complex searchable thing, then analyst then it's going to take a time. Okay, and it's going to cost the organizations. Okay, and Purview can help on this to have a successful data catalog and unified governance. Governance is nothing but providing access to those data for the specific users or required users. Okay, so that they can access the data and do analysis or something with that. Providing access and governing who is accessing to what data. Okay, that is more important in an organization. Okay, so to have these kind of a things, Purview provide a better way of doing all these things. Okay, so Microsoft Purview Solution the Governance Portal. So as I say, you can use on-premise data or multi-cloud. I think multi-cloud covered in I think the last session. So you can bring your on-premises data into your Purview, and also you can bring your multi-cloud data. So it doesn't matter where your data is sitting. Okay, it could be in AWS, it could be on-premise, Mongo, as we have seen in the last session, or it could be in anywhere, Cassandra DB, it could be in anywhere. Okay, so you can have that data, metadata of those data, bring into the Purview, and it gives overall view of your organization's data. Okay, and the data catalog main point is data catalog is a collection of metadata combined with data management and search tools. Okay, so Purview does not give you the data; it just give you the metadata of data. Okay, so we have to understand this point. So it just gives you a glimpse of what that data is instead of giving the actual data. Okay, it won't give you the so if you take users, okay, it will give you what are the properties are there in the users table or users data lake or user related some other Excel, okay, CSVs, or it give you like what are the properties are in users. Okay, let's say username, first name, last name, city, address. So these kind of properties are there in users. Okay, and the next point is evaluating the fitness of data for intended users. Okay, so this is another important point. Okay, an analyst has to have a proper quality data in order to get a quality information or quality analysis from that. Okay, so in order to give such kind of a quality data, you have various options in Purview where you can say this particular data is certified. Okay, so this has 100% accurate data. You can use this data to do any kind of analysis. So those kind of certifications we can do it in Purview. This will help the analyst to have a better analysis. Okay, so as a data owner, let's say I am a data owner for a user data. Okay, so I know whether a particular user data is 100% good or not. Okay, so there are certain scenarios where user data will not have the necessary properties. Okay, for example, it might be missing first name, it might be missing last name, or it might be missing address, or it might be missing some other data. Okay, so with this kind of a data, it's highly impossible for the analyst to do a certain analysis. Okay, so these are required data. Okay, so what I can do is as a data owner, I'll either certify it whether an analyst or some other microservices user can use this data, or wait for certain things and then use the data. So those kind of things I can do with the Purview. And helps in collaboration and providing secure access to the data assets. Okay, as I already told, you have to give access to those data sets, whether it's in SQL or it's in a data lake or it's anywhere else like Snowflake DB or some other things. Okay, once the analysts are comfortable that they are having whatever the necessary informations they want to do the analysis, okay, they want to go and see into the data. Okay, on the first step, they are going to see the metadata of the data and how the data, whether it is certified or is there any missing part in the data. Okay, so those are the details. As a data owner, I take responsibility of giving all these glimpses. Okay, once they are comfortable, analysts are comfortable. Okay, these are the data I require to do the analysis. Okay, I got okay. Then the next step is to get access to those data to do the necessary analysis. Okay, in the so Purview helps on this scenario also. It has a seamless way of the analyst raising the request to get access to the data. Once they raise the request, once they raise the request, uh, and as a data owner, you will receive a notification. Okay, so on what purpose, which user has raised the request, and you have the ability to approve in the portal itself for that request, and seamlessly the user can access the data. Okay, so that's another important point. You do not go to somewhere else to provide secure access and all. Okay, data governance. Okay, so these are three main property of any data governance tool. Discoverability. As I already said, data is scattered between applications. Finding what data resides where becomes a cumbersome process. So discoverability is a main property of data governance. Okay, it should be easy to search and see what data, where it is, how it can be used, and accountability. Yeah, accountability is another major part. Okay, so whoever owning that data, they should be accountable for that data. Okay, Purview gives an option to add a data owner and data architect kind of things, so that you will know who is actually accountable for this particular data and whom you can contact to get further information on the data. Okay, so instead of going through a manual process of knowing each and every service and going to those particular persons and speaking with every other, so this gives a unified way of seeing. Okay, this is the data I have. So this is the owner of this data. So I can go and collaborate with them, and I can have access with them, and I can do the analysis. Okay. So next point is security. As I already told, security. You have to give uh, so there should be a seamless way for you as a data owner to give and revoke access to that particular data. And you need to have a unified view, like which user have access to which data. Okay. So data cataloging, if you see this picture, so there is operational systems. Okay, so there are transactional databases. We'll say like sales, CRM, finance, supply chain, and we have user data. All those things are sitting in a transaction system. From the transaction systems, what we will do is we can have a direct transaction systems into a data catalog, metadata into data catalog, or else we can do a analysis of those data, and we can put it in a data warehouse, and we can include that data warehouse also in a data catalog. Okay, so let's say I have a two analysis teams. One is for product, another one is for users. Okay, so users analysis team, what they can analyze is in which area we have lot of users. Okay, in which state or which country we have a lot of users. Okay, and what kind of devices they have, and what kind of uh, what kind of digits they have. Those kind of analysis this particular user data analyst can do, and they can put that in a data warehouse. Okay, so let's say another microservices, product microservices. Okay, product microservices, they also want the similar kind of a data. Okay, so the product services also want the data like how many users we have and where are those users are residing, and which particular state they have the maximum users. Those details the product microservices requires. Okay, so what they can do is instead of doing their own analysis, what they can do is they can just go into the Purview and they can just search for is there any data already available for this kind of analysis. Okay, they will go and search. Okay, let's say uh, uh, state-wise users. That's let's say there is a column called state-wise user count. Okay, so that's a particular column. User service have in their data warehouse to have the state-wise user count. Okay, so what they can do is the product service they can go and search. Okay, let's see if we have a column like that. Okay, they can search and okay, they can see in this particular data warehouse either it is in Snowflake or we can also Synapse Analytics. uh, we already have this kind of data which is already done by user service. Okay, they can just go and see if they have their required they can look into the metadata and they see is this the required data they want. Okay, they go search and okay, let's say they confirm that this is the data they want, and they go request access for the data, and they get access to the data and they do their own analysis. If you see here, we have actually there is an optimization here actually. If you see here, the product services they're not duplicating the already done analysis. Okay, it makes them easy to avoid the duplicate analysis, and also the same time it makes them easy to access those already available data. Okay, that actually improve the efficiency of our analyst. Okay, so Purview is also helping in improving the efficiency of how we are handling the analysis. Okay, so these are the primary features of Azure Purview. So data discovery, as I already told, data classifications. Classifications are like sensitivity labels. If you can say PAN number, if you take PAN number, Indian PAN number, that's a sensitive data. Okay, so what Purview will do is if it finds any PAN related data, it marks them as a sensitive information, and so that the users or analysts of those data they'll take care of how to analyze the data lineage. Data lineage is like from where it's kind of a history of data, from where which place the data has been generated, how it has been modified. Those kind of things will get data lineage, data collaboration. I already told. We can actually do give multiple comments on the data, like those things to share the insights and data assets and data access. I already do business glossary. So business glossary is like let's say example. Let's take an example of PAN itself. So in India, we know what is PAN. Okay, permanent account number. Okay, but in other countries, they do not know what is exactly a PAN. Okay, so what we can do is if there is a column called PAN in any of the tables, okay, we can add a definition to that particular PAN. Let's say PAN is a personal identification number that is used for income tax department by India. Okay, we can add that kind of a definition, and we can connect those definition into these uh, columns. Okay, so whoever the analysts are accessing those columns, they'll come to know, okay, this is what this is, and they can use it accordingly, appropriately. Okay, so these are the few benefits of Purview. Improved data governance, I already explained it. Okay, increased data visibility. So the search and discoverability are the main part of data visibility and better data quality. So better data quality means as a data owner, you are accountable for the data, and you can have the tools to certify the data, and whatever the analyst, they can see who is accountable for the data, and they can request for a quality data and more accurate analytics, because the analyst will obviously know what is the data, where is the data, and they can do more accurate analytics, and with those analytics, the business can take better decisions. Okay. Pause here for a minute. If anybody have any doubts, then I'll move to portal, and I'll show how, I mean, what is cataloging, how it is useful and all. Anybody have any doubt? SQL VMs, SQL VMs is it in on-premise or the on-premise? We can do on-premise or cloud. We can do. Anybody have any questions, sir? Share my screen. Okay, so this is the view of Azure Purview. Okay, so this is the front page of. Hope everybody's able to see my screen.
Yes, we are able to see Vinoth.
So this is the front page of Azure Purview. Okay, and this is the data map. So this is where you will have all your data, metadata collections, where you will register all your data sources. Okay, data sources like wherever the data you are sitting, whether it is SQL DB or a data lake, or somewhere on premise or something. Okay, and I just wanted to see show one thing, as I said. So how it is easy to identify a data when there is a microservices. What you can do is you can create collections. Okay, as microservices. Inside this microservices, what you use is, you can see user service. Okay, and you can create various microservices like product, as I told. Okay, so as analyst, I'm coming, and I know we have a certain microservices. Okay, and I want to know what are the microservices and where the data are sitting. What I can do, so as a data governance or data architect, what you can do is you can bring in all your services, microservices data in a unified way like this. So as okay, these are the microservices I have, and inside these microservices, what you can do is you can add, register your sources. Okay, let's say I have a user service data. Okay, in an Azure SQL or Azure SQL, what I can do is I go to Azure SQL and I can choose all these things. And in the select collection, what I can do is I'll map it to user service. Okay, so my actual data is mapped inside a user service. Okay, and another scenario, let's take I have data which is analyzed data. Okay, that's sitting in some kind of a data lake. Okay, or we can say raw data. Data lake mostly contains raw data. We can have okay, so raw data sitting in data lake storage that belongs to product service. Okay, what I can do is I can go to Azure Data Lake Storage and I can go and I can map it to product service. Okay, so in this way, what we can do, we'll have a unified view as in this microservices. Okay, let's say this is a commerce microservice, e-commerce microservice. Okay, if I see this microservice, I'll have a unified view. What are the services we have, and where the actual data and what are the data I have in the services. Okay, like this. Okay, so if you take this, I have a SQL DB attached to this Adventure Works. Let's say this Adventure Works is one of my app. Okay, so for these applications, this is the data I have. Okay, and I have another analytics data. Okay, this data is like I have already analyzed one of my data. So I have taken this example from a Kaggle, like emission by country. So what are the CO2 emissions for a country? Okay, so that's already analyzed data. Okay, and I can go and see. Okay, this analytics data. So I have already some analytics data. And just go and check what is the data we have. Let's see. Okay, I found out this is the thing we have, and I can go. And this scanning part, this part I think this already covered. Okay, so what I can do, either I can go here and see what are the data I have here, data cataloging. Okay, if you see here, these are the so in the data lake, what are the things I have? Okay, I can see here. Okay, and I can see this is a particular data set we have. This is a CSV file. Okay, and in that particular CSV file, what are the properties I have? Okay, as an analyst, I have to analyze certain things, or I have to use some other analyzed data. Okay, so if you say lower 95%, this kind of a thing. Okay, and I can change this here. If you see here, these are already classifications here. Okay, this country and region, it is country and person's gender. Okay, so there are already classifications applied here, and I can check what this particular data set is having, and I can verify. Okay, so this is the data I have. I can go to contacts. Okay, as a data architect or as a owner of this particular data lake, what I can do is I can add myself. Okay, as a data expert or data owner. Okay, let's take I am a data owner, so I can add myself that I am the owner of this data. Okay, so as analyst, and okay, I'm playing dual role. So another role is as analyst, and coming here, I'm checking. Okay, these are the properties. I want to use this data. Okay, so this is a metadata, and I check this data, and I want to use this data. Okay, and if I have already added as a owner, what I can do is I can go and request access for this data. Okay, so let's say want this data for analysis. Okay, what I can do is I can directly request access from here. What it will do is see it will create a request to the data owner. Okay, so this particular user has requested a data for access. Okay, that particular user will get a notification like that, and the data owner's responsibility is they can check is this a legitimate user, or we can give access to that particular users, and they can go here. See, I mean, if you take all the governments are inbuilt in Purview, okay, so they can go here and request and approvals. I have my pending one request. Okay, here I can approve this request. Of course, running the thing. It's a different user. Okay, I have to log into another user, coding city, and that user, this is I requested, and that user will have approve or rejection part. Okay, they can either approve or rejection part. One that is approved, what will happen is the identity will be created for that particular user, and they will be provided a particular access. Okay, there is another here. So what you can also do is you can create a policy like so there is a database application that requires access to that particular data set. Okay, let's say you can also from here create Databricks, allow Databricks. Okay, and I'll put allow Databricks, and what you can from here you can allow to have the Databricks data sources. Let's say I want to allow this to have data like storage object. I can use that. Okay, so this is the Purview data, and this is the data set. I can add them, and in the subjects, it will give all the managed identity. Okay, so right now I don't have a Databricks. So what I can do is, so here it will list all your managed identity. So Databricks will have its own managed identity. So here you can choose your managed entity, Databricks managed entity, and you can provide access. Okay, this is data cataloging, securing part, and the main advantage of data cataloging is here. Okay, so let's take a home. Okay, okay. So if I see here, uh, this is the search part. This is the important part where the discoverability is easy for any analyst to search. Okay, as an analyst, I have to search for some data that is related to let's say gender or age something. Okay, so I need to know what are the columns I have that is related to age. So when I go and search for age, I'll have these suggestions. Okay. Okay, this data set have something related to age. I can go to this data set and look, okay, these are the things I have, and I can go to this request all the process. Okay, so this gives a more unified view and a better search experience to look what is the data you have across the organization. Okay, let's take another SQL. If you say we have this SQL, okay, in the SQL, you can say, okay, these are the tables you have in SQL. Okay, as I already told, as an analyst, your job is to like you have to analyze something which is relevant to sales. Okay, and you just wanted to know. You just wanted to know what are the data that is available, which is just you type search here, sales here. Okay, you'll get all those informations that is related to search. Okay, so these are the tables I have that is related to search. Okay, and customer will have search something, sales ID. Okay, as analyst, I get to know these are the tables that is, I can go inside this and see what are the properties. Sorry, schema. I can see what is the schema of those particular table. Okay, I can and I can see owner of this. Sorry, and I can write access to this particular one. Okay, so we have seen two main parts of this. Okay, so as I told earlier in governance, so discoverability, accountability, and security. These are the three major important points in governance. Okay, so discoverability in Azure Purview, we have easy discoverability by having it here. Okay, Azure Purview. Okay, and the next part is governance and accountability and security. So accountability, we are getting it like when you navigate through the data asset. So this is a particular data asset. Here you can check who is the owner of the data, and you can check and you can raise requests to them, or you can collaborate with them. Those kind of things. And security, in a secure way, you can provide access to those. Okay. So those are the things I show quickly about Azure Purview data cataloging, how you can have a governance, secure way of doing data cataloging, and more importantly, these three main parts, how you can discoverability, accountability, and security. These are the three main important concepts of governance, how you can have those uh, thing there in using Azure Purview. I'm open to questions now. Thank you for all the sponsors to giving me the opportunity to explain the tool Azure Purview. Yeah, once again, I thank all the sponsors.
All right, Vinoth. Thank you so much for your time. And Vinoth will be here around. If you have any kind of questions, you can feel free to post it on the chat. Thank you.